Greetings and konnichiwa, and welcome to the Onyx Tavern. I'm your host, Rick the Barkeep, bringing you podcast number 98 here at the Tavern, presented by Hirotaku.com. Well, those of you who are avid moviegoers or just superhero fans in general, you're pretty happy to know the fact that just about every other month between now and 2020, we're going to have a superhero movie out there. Basically, with the recent announcement by Marvel and some announcements by DC and all that, you're basically looking at 5 to 6, if not more, superhero movies for pretty much the next decade, which is a great thing. I have no problem with that. It seems to be the new genre. It seems to be something people are interested in. And of course, I love superhero movies, even though I don't read the comics. I am familiar with these characters, and I'd like to go see them. And, a lot of people have been responding to this, and one of the notable websites that's actually made things a little bit easier for people to understand kind of what's going on is Comics Alliance. Their website has presented a superhero movie infograph, as they call it. Now, I will post the link to this image down in the comments section, so I encourage you guys to go check it out if you just want to know what movie's coming out, and if you're confused at all, which honestly, with the way these releases are going, it is rather confusing at times. And of course, this infograph has everything from the release of Big Hero 6 on November 7th, everything up to, Green Lantern in June of 2020, as well as a couple of films that don't have any particular release dates yet. And again, everything's in here. Age of Ultron, The Infinity War, the new Wonder Woman movie, Wolverine 3, Civil War, X-Men Apocalypse, all that's listed in there. But I'll give you one guess as to what movie is not listed. Yes, the July 22nd of 2016 film, the third Power Rangers movie, which of course I have not really covered on this channel because, well, there's not much to cover, but I'll get into that at a later time. The infograph is basically saying these are all the superhero movies that are coming out between now and 2020, but they forgot the Power Rangers. I'm sorry, that does not make any sense. I mean, we were aware of the Power Rangers release before the Infinity Wars, and yet Comics Alliance seems to have not added in there. But this isn't really my main complaint. I mean, people forget about Power Rangers all the time. I mean, I still run into people that say, it's still on TV. I'm like, where have you been for the last 21 years? But I digress. Now, I have actually emailed and commented several times to Comics Alliance that, well, you guys have forgotten the third Power Rangers movie. And I have not received any response. They've actually updated the infograph as I'm looking at it now on October 28th. And again, the Power Rangers movie is still not listed. That being said, anytime that I have posted that they forgot the Power Rangers movie on a public forum, whether it be Facebook or Twitter or whatever, I just say, hey, Power Rangers not in there. Where is it? And a response that I get, and it's not really a common response, but it was a response that I have heard for years and years and years. And this response has annoyed me to no end. And it has continued to follow me when I make comments. And it's just, I gotta talk about it. I comment on Facebook when somebody, one of my friends, posted a link, and I specifically said that you forgot the Power Ranger movie. The Power Rangers movie's not in there. Why is the Power Rangers movie? And one of the responses I got was, because it's Power Rangers. That was their entire response. The reason that the Power Rangers movie is not listed on the infograph is because it's Power Rangers. And in their mind, that's all they need to say. This response infuriates me more than just about anything else I've heard. This is actually a response that I get from people that I know, friends that I know, colleagues, and even this comment comes up a number of times on the Onyx Tavern. There are several responses out there that are basically because it's Power Rangers or something to that equivalent. And then, again, I'm just getting tired of this. And I want to have the opportunity to talk about it because it really makes no sense to me how this is not considered a legitimate answer, but an accepted answer by some. And I guess we have to kind of boil down what is it about Power Rangers that makes people say this? And here's where I want to go ahead and start with that. I don't think there is any debate out there that Power Rangers is a superhero team. And I also don't think that there's any debate that Power Rangers has been something of a cultural phenomenon, at least at one point in its history. I mean, there are people out there who know what Power Rangers are, but they don't know who the Super Sentai are. It has eclipsed its source material to a lot of people in this country. Going back to the infographic, there's a film coming out in 2018 called Inhumans by Marvel. What the heck where the heck are the Inhumans? I don't know what that is. But I bet you if you ask the average person out there, they'll know who the Power Rangers are, but not who the damn Inhumans are. And that's nothing against the Inhumans. It's just the idea that Power Rangers is a well-known and well-recognized piece of fiction. On the same level with Batman and Superman. Yes, because if you say Batman, people know who you're talking about. If you say Superman, people know who you're talking about. When you say Power Rangers, people know exactly who you're talking about. No matter what the incarnation, they know who the Power Rangers are. So the Power Rangers are there on a cultural level, in the zeitgeist, if you will. And the thing is, they don't seem to have any respect from culture. And I wonder why that is. What is it about Power Rangers that garners them less respect to where people can say, because it's Power Rangers, and that's a legitimate response? I mean, if we looked at this infographic, and let's just give an example here, and let's say they left off a Batman movie on there. Well, somebody says, oh, you forgot Batman, but then somebody says, because it's Batman. That's not an answer that particularly flies, because Batman is something that is culture relevant and popular. I mean, ever since, 89 Batman, and even before that, but you get the point that I'm trying to make here. But if you say, because it's Power Rangers, people are like, yep, he's right, because it's Power Rangers. What makes Power Rangers more or less respected or generally accepted than anything else? I mean, consider this. Well, look at the popular franchises that are out there. I mean, we got one movie about an alcoholic billionaire who builds an iron suit. That's accepted. We have another movie about a World War II super soldier who gets frozen in ice for 70 years. That's accepted and respected by people. And we got a movie about, a guy who's the king of Atlantis and breathes underwater and talks to animals or talks to sea life. And that's respected. But as soon as you say, oh, this is a show about 5 teenagers who saved the world by, piloting giant robots, they're like, wrong. No, not interested. What exactly makes Power Rangers have that response to people? I mean, I just don't get it. And this is something I've been dealing with for years, because being the guy who likes Power Rangers, I am getting that because it's Power Rangers. And nobody can really give me an answer on that. I mean, here's the thing about Power Rangers. It's an awesome show. It's a great television program. It's a great mythology. It's a great story. But why doesn't it have the respect of the general populace? I mean, yeah, there are people who don't watch it and stuff, but there are people who don't watch Batman but respect Batman for whatever reason. And I know it's a little hard to compare these characters, the Power Rangers, to other comic properties or other, superhero properties, but to that I say, is Power Rangers not on the same level as the Avengers or the Justice League? I mean, that's a legitimate question. I get people to tell me they're not on the same level. And I'm like, why not? What makes the Justice League better than the Power Rangers? What makes the Avengers better than the Power Rangers? Are they not all equals in the superhero world? Again, what makes Power Rangers less accepted than any other franchise out there? Now, people will contest to me, well, it's a children's show. And, I mean, I contest this. Look at the 1960s Batman television show. Now, you can't tell me that wasn't meant for children. And yet, for a lot of people, it's one of their favorite incarnations of Batman. My father loves that version. I'm particularly fond of the Bruce Timm version, but he loves that. And if you asked anybody who's your favorite version of Batman, and they say the Adam West 60s version, they'll be like, oh, that's cool. But you know what? I like the Christopher Nolan Batman. You have a general respect in there. But I've never heard anybody go, you like the Adam West Batman? What is wrong with you? But I have heard, you like Power Rangers? What is wrong with you? I don't understand how Power Rangers can generate that response in people. I'm just not understanding it. You're telling me that every other superhero team out there is legitimate, recognized, and respected, except for this one. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, okay, I did not know what the Guardians of the Galaxy was before I went to go ahead and see it. I knew it was tied into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They would help lead into the Age of Ultron. Obviously, now I know it goes into the Infinity Wars, and I went and saw it. And a lot of people say that that film was a big gamble because nobody knows who the Guardians of the Galaxy are. But as soon as the movie came out, everybody knew who the Guardians of the Galaxy were, and they're insanely popular. But if I try to tell you now that the Power Rangers are better than the Guardians of the Galaxy, people are going to be like, no, Guardians of the Galaxy is better. And of course I would ask why, and they'd say, because they're Power Rangers. I don't get it. The Power Rangers have all the same hallmarks as any other superhero team out there. So again, what makes them less legitimate to people? What garners this, disrespect for the franchise? And I can't really seem to I don't really seem to have an answer for that. Because I think about it, and I think of it objectively as opposed to subjectively, and I just like, okay, we have superheroes. They have giant robots, they have weapons, they have spandex, they have costumes, they have morphing devices. I mean, to be honest, the Power Rangers do a lot of things that a lot of superheroes don't do. I mean, Spider-Man doesn't have a giant robot. Black Panther doesn't have a giant robot. Superman doesn't have a giant robot. Now, Iron Man technically does, but then again, hey, it's Iron Man. The Hulk doesn't have a giant robot. But the Power Rangers have them. And people are like, yeah, whatever. I mean, I can't think of another superhero besides, again, Iron Man, who is a robot himself in essence, and has the Hulk smasher and whatever, that has giant robots. I mean, what was the last giant robot movie we saw? Pacific Rim. And people were actually dissing on that movie because they say it was like Power Rangers. Well, first of all, I believe that movie was based on old Japanese monster movies, and of course Power Rangers and Super Sentai gets basis in that. But again, that's a different discussion here. But people were basically criticizing Pacific Rim because it's like Power Rangers. And I'll give you another thing too. Look at Voltron. People make comparisons to Power Rangers and Voltron, saying that Power Rangers is a ripoff of Voltron because of the giant transforming robot. Well, I'm sorry, but Voltron was not the first to do that. Maybe the first well-known in the Western world, but it was not the first to go ahead and do that. And that's another thing. A lot of people think Power Rangers is ripping off other franchises, but consider they did a lot of things that have not been done in films before or since. I mean, is there, other than parodies out there or people trying to rip off Japanese footage like VR Troopers and Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, is there another superhero team out there that's like the Power Rangers? There really isn't. I can't think of any. And again, if there is a team that's like Power Rangers, it's, well, Avengers and Justice League. I mean, aren't they the same thing? A bunch of heroes coming together to save the world? Yeah, they don't have the uniformity, but they have giant robots. They have secret bases. I mean, the command center is the Watchtower. The Jungle Karma Pizza is Tony's mansion. We have all these different similarities and differences between them, but the Power Rangers are still a superhero team at its core. And yet people don't look at them with respect. I really don't understand. Again, if it's a children's show, well, Spider-Man was a children's show, Batman was a children's show, Superman was a children's show, and believe it or not, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, all those started as comic books for children. So Power Rangers, which is a TV show for children, doesn't get the same kind of respect. And I know that Spider-Man and Batman, all those guys have been out for 70, 50 years, 40 years, however many. And Power Rangers is relatively new. And don't get me wrong there. I know it's only been about 21 years. We haven't hit that quarter century or half century mark like other franchises have. But I don't think the time that they've been out should really make a difference on how people respect them. I mean, what is it about Power Rangers that people just don't respect? What is it that they look at it? I mean, okay, people look at Superman, and let's be honest, Superman's got a very interesting costume, but people look at him and goes, that's a superhero. They look at Power Rangers, and they're just like, that's really cheesy or corny or kiddish or whatever and all that. To which I'm like, but have you seen superhero costumes? I mean, what makes the Power Ranger suits different from any other superhero thing? I know I'm not really going anywhere with any of this, but I'm really trying to ask these questions to you guys out there because I just find it odd that in a world where superhero movies are becoming all the rage, one of the films that nobody is talking about and one of the franchises that people just don't seem to care about is the Power Rangers. Now, yes, Power Rangers have been on a hard time since I would say about 2008, 2009. Since the decline, subjectively speaking here, the decline with RPM, the re-airs, the reacquisition by Saban, and the whole Neo-Saban era has really put a damper on it. But we also have to admit the Power Rangers is back in the public consciousness with their virtual media campaign and the fact that they have a new movie coming out. But when that movie was announced in May of this year, I haven't heard anybody talk about it. I haven't heard superhero news or anything. Regular websites that cover superhero things. I mean, I've seen people flip out over the fact that there's going to be an Aunt May movie, but I'm not hearing any reaction about a Power Rangers movie. And I don't get that. Are you telling me people are more interested that there's an Aunt May movie coming out than there is a Power Rangers movie coming out? And believe it or not, this little infograph does have a female-led Spider-Man spinoff. And of course, that is the Aunt May film that everybody's been talking about. So how does that have more attention to it than Power Rangers? So really, this is just a question to all of you out there. And I really want to hear a discussion in the comments section. But I do not want to hear the answer because it's Power Rangers. And if you say that, you need to back up your reasons. What is it? This is the question I'm going to ask to all of y'all. What is it about Power Rangers that makes it less respectable than any other superhero franchise out there? Why is it then the totem pole of superheroes, the Power Rangers are always on the bottom? There's got to be a reason, and I would like to know what that is. Because I'm not going to sit here and say that Iron Man is better than Superman. I'm not going to go ahead and say that the Hulk is better than Wolverine. I'm not going to make those claims because all superheroes, in my mind, are an even keel. Even if this hero was created in the Silver Age as a joke character, he is still a legitimate superhero. And the Power Rangers are legitimate superheroes. I mean, we talked in the past. Battle Fever J and Super Sentai, by extent, are part of the Marvel Universe because they have their own universe in which they occupy. Again, where is the respect for that? And I'll bring up one final point here, something that really annoys me. So I'm taking a class this semester in the history of Walt Disney. Basically from the inception of Oswald the Lucky Rabbit up to now, Big Hero 6. So everything Disney in between. And we talked this week in class about the acquisition of Pixar and basically how Cars at that time was the big merchandising machine for Disney. That, they were coming out all this Cars merchandise. And you can still see it to this day, even though it's been years since the first movie and the sequel. But my professor pointed out that that's going to go ahead and change likely because of the acquisition of both Marvel and Star Wars, that because of that, they'll probably be aggressively pushing towards the male demographic to sell action figures and toys like that. Now, that is, of course, speculation, and I don't know how much of that's true based on his point of view here, but I understand where he's coming from with that. But I would counter with, you had Power Rangers, which, again, one Disney executive had told me straight up it was a franchise just for selling toys. I disagree with him on that statement, but if you're going to make that statement, then why the hell did you not sell Power Ranger toys or turn it into the mass market that you did? Because apparently Disney has the idea in their head that, Marvel, good. Star Wars, good. Power Rangers, eh. They didn't have any respect for Power Rangers. And again, when they first acquired Power Rangers, they wanted to get rid of it. And they did get rid of it. So why is there no respect for Power Rangers? The fact that Disney got it, didn't want anything to do with it, and got rid of it years later. And the fact that the new movie's coming out, nobody's talking about it. There seems to be no interest in this film. And further by the fact that, again, when I bring up the fact that Power Rangers this, Power Rangers that, whatever, the answer is because it's Power Rangers. That is not a good answer, and I want an answer. So after all this ranting and everything, what do you guys think? Tell me, why is because it's Power Rangers an acceptable answer, or just in general an answer that people are giving? What is it about Power Rangers that makes it less legitimate? That's what I want to go ahead and know. So I want to thank you guys for listening to this rant. You know, it's not as big as maybe some of my others because, again, a lot of this isn't based on fact. It's really based off of, not circumstantial evidence, but, just things that people say out there, and I want a reason for that. And for those of you who do post on my videos because it's Power Rangers, I encourage you and I dare challenge you to give me a reason. I want a reason. Why is Power Rangers not that significant in your mind compared to other franchises? That's what I want to go ahead and know. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for listening. Comment below. And the tavern is now closed.